Good afternoon, Windsor. I'm Lauren Hedges, and this is the 30s newscast for Friday, February 6th. On today's show, we'll be looking at the University of Windsor's new provost and writer-in-residence, as well as the life of a French cellist here in Windsor. In breaking news, Windsor police have made an arrest in the Cassandra Kaake homicide investigation. Here's what Windsor police had to say.
26-year-old Matthew Brush of the town of LaSalle was arrested and charged with the murder of Cassandra Kaake by the Windsor police detectives.
A member of our community, Cassandra Kaake, was murdered inside of her residence at 1564 Benjamin. Cassie was 31 years old and 7 months pregnant at the time of the murder. Investigators received information about vehicles, persons, and suspicious activity in the area. As a result, Mr. Brush was arrested at Windsor Police Headquarters on Tuesday, February the 3rd.
Matthew Brush will remain in Windsor police custody and is scheduled to appear in court on February 11th. The University of Windsor is joining 9 other universities in Canada by creating a sexual harassment policy. Studies show that about 1 in every 4 young women who attend post-secondary institutions endure some form of sexual violence. Dr. Clayton Smith, Dean of Students, talks to the 30 about the importance of having this policy in place on our campus.
And just as an example, I'll pick 1 week. The first week of the fall 2014 semester. We had 4 reports of sexual assault on or near our campus. 4. Just in a week. As I looked closer at it, I could see that we didn't have a policy. I said, as an absolute first place to operate, we've got to have a way of saying that this is important and bring together the resources of the university to make sure that we stand up for the things that we believe in. It's a problem that doesn't get resolved with a policy, but the policy is the place to start.
Dr. Smith hopes to have a draft of the policy completed by the end of February. If all goes well, the policy should be in full effect come the end of April. Stay tuned to the 30 for updates regarding sexual violence and the University of Windsor campus. There will be a new provost at the University of Windsor next month, but how does this actually affect the school? Reporter Jess Kramer went out to get the scoop on what a provost is and what they do for a university.
The University of Windsor will have a new provost as of March 1st. For the past year, Bob Orr has been filling the position when he came back to take the job after retiring from a 45-year streak.
The former provost became the president of Trent. And,
okay.
And so there was a vacancy, and so they needed to fill the vacancy on an acting basis, and so I came out of retirement to do that.
This time, however, Orr is definitely calling it quits. And Douglas Neal, a former dean, said the University of Brock will be taking the position. But what does this mean for the University of Windsor? When asked around, most students didn't even know the word provost, let alone their position at the U.
Do you know what a provost is?
No, I don't.
No? Have you ever heard of a provost before?
No, not until you said it.
Any idea what it has to do with anything?
Not a clue.
No clue.
No.
Is?
Provost? No, I'm not sure what that
Have
is.
you ever heard of a provost?
No.
Okay. Do you know what a provost is?
No, I do not.
You don't? Do you know what a provost is? Do you know what a provost is? Have any of you ever heard of a provost?
This outcome wasn't shocking, seeing as many of our own 30 news reporters had only learnt of the term last week. So we sat down with Neil to ask exactly what the job of a provost entails.
The provost and vice president academic is responsible for virtually all aspects of academic administration and planning, student recruitment, the library, IT, all those kinds of things. The provost reports to the president and works with the other VPs and the deans, the registrar, the librarian, and so on.
According to Orr, provosts spend most of their day in back-to-back meetings with deans, faculty reps, recruitment offices, and the school president. Once given the position, Neil hopes to help out with student recruitment as well as campus expansion.
I want to see harmonious labor relations on campus with all units. I want to see that downtown project transforming the city core. I want to see the Lancers thump the Western Mustang football team at homecoming.
The former title of a provost is Vice President of Academics. Neil will be next in line to Wilderman and take his place when the president is away or cannot fulfill his duties. For the 30.ca, this is Jess Kramer reporting.
Windsor welcomes back award-winning writer, anthologist, and teacher Madeline Sonic, as she has been named University of Windsor's new writer-in-residence. For more information about the workshops Madeline will be holding, visit our website, the30.ca. The University of Windsor's journalism department is well on their way to their documentary that explores the multiculturalism of Windsor. This week, we're going to take a look at French cellist Nadine Dellery and how she made Windsor her home.
I am an extra player for the Windsor Symphony, so I'm not a regular, but I am asked to play, and I love to play with them, so that really opened some doors. So my husband and I came to Windsor almost 8 years ago. We came from Michigan. That as soon as you cross the border, you know that you are not in the States anymore. There's something about the way people are, the pace of people, that we know that we are not in the States anymore. My husband was born in the US. I was born in France. We speak French together. So that was also appealing to be in Windsor because it's not a Francophone city. We wanted to live in Walkerville. That was what, to me, was as close as possible to Europe, to France, because of the character of the houses, because of the closeness of the stores, and you can pretty much do everything by foot or maybe by bike. I mean, just seeing all the restaurants, it's a sign of the diversity in Windsor. People, would it be the Francophones or the Anglophones, have a soft heart for France. When they say, oh, from France, because they assume that I'm from Quebec, even though they say, well, I was thinking, because it's not really the Quebec accent that you have. So I felt that it was kind of special for people to tell them that I'm French. As soon as they hear my accent, they want to speak French. I'm really always happy to, and it happens very, very often. Very often, and sometimes that's French that they have learned in school and not necessarily used regularly. We made more friends in a few months on our street than we made in 11 years in Michigan. But we did not need 8 years to feel at home and to feel in our home in Windsor. No, we right away got a sense of community, knowing the stores around, and having really a connection with the people, not only friends to socialize with, but also the people in the stores and on the arts scenes, of course. So I like to contribute to be part of what's going on, because I love meeting people, and I feel that there are lots of places where you can do that in Windsor. Windsor is not a small city, 200,000. It's not small, but it still has that sense of a small city where you can really meet people and make a difference. And I find that in Windsor, people are always ready to want to create something, to talk, and that things are possible.
In arts news, this Saturday at the Beer Exchange, Montreal psychobilly trio The Brains will be playing with locals Thick as Thieves and the Nephidovs. In an interview last week with frontman René de la Muerte, he said that fans should expect to hear tracks from their 80s cover EP, which was released last fall, and their upcoming full-length, set to be released in the spring. Milk Coffee Bar will be hosting local pop-punk band Your Best Bet's CD release party on Saturday night. Joining them will be Daisy from Ottawa, Hindsight from London, and To the Strongest from Windsor. Saturday night also marks the end of an era for Fog Lounge. Co-founder Franken City is stepping away from the business, and his last bartending shift will begin at 11 p.m. Now over to Scott McEwen with sports.
Thanks, Lauren. This upcoming weekend is an important one for Lancer sports, especially for the women's volleyball team as they head up the 401 to take on Nipissing Lakers and York Lions to clinch a playoff berth. The men's team will be traveling alongside the women's. However, their season will be coming to an end as they finish with a below 500 record. This weekend, the men's hockey team will be at home to end their regular season, taking on the Ryerson Rams Friday and the Brock Badgers on Saturday before their playoffs begin next week. The women's team will be on the road this weekend, playing the Brock Badgers in St. Catharines on Friday and at Guelph Saturday facing the Griffins. They'll be playing without three key components to their team, Jenny McKnight, Bree Polsey, and their head coach, Jim Hunter, as they are in Granada, Spain for the 2015 International University Sports Federation Winter Universiade. Lastly, the Lancers track team will be traveling across the border to Hilldale, Michigan for the Wide Track Classic. They hope to continue their success from last weekend, where they brought home a total of 21 medals at 3 different track events. That's the 30 sports. Now back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks for joining us today for the 30 Newscast. We'll be back in 3 weeks with more updates and local news. I'm Lauren Hedges. Have a great day.